Greetings, everybody who is tuning in to SpeedGaming tonight. This is MooCow1980. I'm joined by Arya Stark, and it's very, very happy from my part to be presenting this to you. The ALTTPR Enemizer Tournament 2024. This is something that I started. Got a lot of response. We had a 64-player field in it. And today you're going to get to see two players, Pool Float G and Iceman F1, who actually are open league teammates on the same team. They play for You Got Poutine on My Cheesesteak. We don't know if there's going to be a team breakup after this best of 3 series between the two. Hopefully they'll make amends and, you know, hug it out. But it's still going to be a fun matchup. Arya, what are you thinking about it?
Hey, Muko. Yeah, this is really fun. Iceman, Pool Flow, two really fun people in the community, two very solid players, and we're gonna get to see how many Lionels they encounter today.
Yes, and if they do any dark rooms and, you know, figure out they get whacked, and then we all sit here and guess, okay, what was it that whacked them? The big yellow spike, a small spike, the Lionel?
The answer is yes.
Answer is yes to everything.
Yeah.
This is day 1 of the tournament, so everything just kicked off today. And to start off, we're not going to get much variance. They both decided they wanted to start off at Link's house, get a quick red 20, and we got a nice little skelly falling from the sky for him.
Yeah, where did he come from? I mean, seriously.
I don't know. It's almost like this mode is shuffling all the enemies in the game all the way about, so you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, fortunately, both players did find an enemy to kill with the sign for the tier 1 tree pull, which unfortunately was just arrows.
Yeah, nothing major. And it looks like Uncle he left 20 at the house and he's got 20 on him, so Link stole his complete $40.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a Quake and the Uncle drop down test.
Yeah, not much there. The positive, I guess, here, obviously, as you noted, it's Enemizer. There's a major shuffling of enemies. They didn't get killed in the Uncle, entryway, so they got the items. They're out of there. You don't have to think about it anymore. You can make your way to something else.
Yeah, the big nightmare scenario that one can encounter is, and this was even stressed in our Discord for this tournament, if you decide to do a dark old man escort, do not save and continue if you die. You may be better off just noping out of that and not being stuck where you have to restart the game.
Yeah, you can get into some really hairy situations there. You did look in that quick map check, like we do have 3 crystals here in the light world. There was at least a 5-6 in Eastern, possibly Desert 2.
There is a sword on the Aga ledge, Lumberjack ledge, so this might, unless we get lucky and we get a tempered sword along the way here and leaves that as golden, there could be a chance for a Master Sword Ganon fight.
Yeah, and obviously that would also lessen the firepower that the players would have to navigate this seed as a whole, because as you note, sometimes Enemizer can make rooms easier, and other times it can make them darn near impossible.
Yeah, and one other thing I want to point out while we're doing the early stuff and the CAC checks is keep in mind, this is not just an Enemizer, this is a Chaos boss shuffle. That means they're not just shuffling the bosses. That means, in theory, you could face Vitreous in every single arena Vitreous could appear in. That is possible. You could have some bosses just simply not appear at all. So, you know, you could be going into rooms, you know, thinking, oh, TR, we got to do TR, or, you know, we're going to have to face Trinex. You may not even need the Ice Rod for this entire seed. We don't know. Compasses in the dungeons will help you identify what the boss is. It doesn't help when the compass is actually on the boss, which we'll see sometimes. That just adds another wrinkle to this tournament.
Yeah, it's very interesting. We're seeing a little bit of minor divergence right now. Pool Float went right into Kakariko, no bombs in Blind Hut, and was bailed out. Iceman went to go pick up. It looks like our friend Obscure is making a trip to Kakariko with Iceman here.
I mean, that's the one beautiful thing with Enemizer. If you get a fish near CAC, there you go. You get, look at all those goodies he gets.
Yeah.
Right there. That's very helpful at the start. Looks like we had a Blinds Hut Samaria, if my eyes were telling me correctly.
Yep.
So that's our big find so far between the two upper CAC checks.
Yeah, coming out of here with bombs is pretty nice, and this is yeah, the chicken house is always a fun one in Enemizer.
Alright, nothing in Chicken Hut except a mess of enemies on the way out.
Yeah, that one chicken's hanging with a bad crowd. Needs some better influences.
Or maybe he was kidnapped by the guards.
Oh, that could be, yeah.
And, you know, no one's going to save the chicken, and, you know, we'll have to hold that against our runners at the end. We might have to deduct some points.
So yeah, money and bombs. Samaria is nice. It does not do terribly much right now. The players are really looking for some semblance of direction here.
Pool is just going to scout the there's the bottle, which you can immediately cash in if you so desire, and I imagine that Pool probably will.
Yeah, really awkward location early on when you're hoping to end your route here. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, do you backtrack or do you just save and quit and do it the next time you come through CAC?
Yeah, sometimes it just depends on the item and, you know, what's going on. Like, if it's flute, I'm automatically going back and just activating it and getting it
Oh,
done.
absolutely, yeah.
Well, we'll see what Pool does. He says...
Yeah, we got Check the Kid.
He says he's checking it, yep.
Yeah, and I have no real problem with that. Again, players got so little in Kakariko. You might as well backtrack for this, see if you can, you know, hit on something, whether it be a weapon or anything that might be a direction right now, because you know there's the South Shore place, there's the Eastern Saha area, and the kid had money to give away, which is nice. But
I mean, depending on what we find or, you know, how they're able to get it in, that's closer to Zora money. He's about 14 off.
You definitely hope to, in Enemizer, you definitely hope to find those early flippers. In plenty of open seeds, I'm rooting against the early flippers. In Enemizer, yeah, let's not play around with the fake flippering if we don't have to.
Yeah, because you do not know what you're going to encounter, and you hit that portal going up to the waterfall cave, you don't know if there's going to be a red guard sitting there just ready to blast you. And then, whoops, you're saving and quitting because you can't do anything.
Yeah, and sometimes it's even like the relatively innocuous enemies, a thief, which won't actually damage you other than maybe bump an item or two out, but you get touched in fake flipper state, it's done.
There's a lot of little things that you're so used to playing this game, like, okay, do this here, do this here, do this here. You have to sometimes do a double take when you're playing. It's kind of like, you know, I guess double clutching the ball when you're playing sports. You sometimes will double clutch when you play Enemizer just because you're like, wait a minute, can I do this? Oh, okay, I can do this fine. Oh, wait a minute, I can't do this. Plan B.
Yeah, the ability to be flexible and ad lib and do it in like really quick fashion is a skill that the players who are exceptionally adept at playing Enemizer will consistently display. It's really impressive to watch.
Which is why I'm going to lose 2 straight and be out in the first round to Super Taylor.
Hey,
but anyways,
was that the boots on?
I am pretty gosh darn sure it was.
That's fun.
Someone in chat says, "Is this Canadian football?" No, we're focusing on the NFL here. We're in playoff season. Yeah, that was the boots. I just saw the watch the stream back.
That's tremendous. So we got a sword on Agaled, boots on Lake Hylia Island.
So there's flippers and mirror needed to unlock those. There's our Lionel appearance. Hi, Lionel.
And we get the guards hovering around Mini Moldorm Cave. A pretty nice time to use Samaria here, though. Very good setup.
Definitely. And we got the lamp and Saha and a sword. Lamp and a sword in Saha's hut.
Okay. Moon Pearl Cape and another sword in Mini Moldorm Cave. Uh-oh.
Wow.
Agasense is starting to tingle, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's...
So yeah, Iceman here cleaning up South Shore. Heading to Ice Rod Cape. Pool Float heading straight into Crystal Eastern. With what he has, there is the potential that there are a handful of bosses here that he could beat. And, ooh,
well,
nice.
That's very helpful.
Yeah, and the players have been afforded plenty of arrows early in the seed as well, so not like they're in short supply in Eastern Palace.
So that'll likely go down as our first logical bow, and that'll give him a lot of offense to be able to kill a lot of things. I mean, pretty much, what are we looking at that he can't do if he encounters it here? Oh, magic, that's nice.
Yeah, he got Argus.
Obviously Trinex.
Yeah, obviously Trinex. Cold Stare at the moment as well. Can't break that shell. Well, the rest of them they could do. You know, Helma would be bombs to remove the mask. Some of the fights would not be, you know, unless you whip out those NMG skills the fastest, but they're doable. It's been a pretty nice layout in Eastern 2. Iceman, though, is going to nope out here after heading to Sahag. Picked up that lamp, picked up that second sword.
There's our compass, and we have a moth.
All right.
That is doable with Fighter Sword. Not fun, but doable. Yeah. And at least you don't have the arena to deal with either.
That is true, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a rhythm to that moth fight, especially when you're on lower gear in Enemizer. But it's absolutely doable in this situation. Iceman, meanwhile, is heading to the front of Hyrule Castle. We have not seen this on other side.
Little pesky red guard there for Iceman. A 20 for his troubles.
Yeah, Pool Float wasn't willing to bet on the 50-50 as to whether that last item here in Eastern was on the boss. Did find the third one in the Vanilla Big Key chest, but yeah, just another 20, so red 20s all over the place. This room in Eastern can be problematic, especially, you know, good knowledge there by Pool Float. Jump down into the pot, get a fairy here.
Yeah,
he is only on Fighter Sword, Green Mail, 5 hearts here. So, yeah, we'll see how... yeah. Oh, hello. Well, it's Quake time. Yep.
Yep, that's a good thing for the Quake. He even gets a magic and heart refill, and that was non-eventful after a quick scare.
Yeah, very good job there by Pool Float. Again, that's the foresight to think about how he was going to approach the room rather than just diving in. Got in there with full health, had Quake ready to go.
Looks like Zelda had money in her cell. $50.
Yeah, Iceman trying to get the displaced Jazz Hands guy here to help out with the Death Warp.
It's better than a green guard. You know those only do a half heart of damage, right?
I have heard, but I've heard it's uniform and therefore, you know, pretty outstanding.
I'll have to double check with Homewrecker to make sure that's correct.
Need a command for that. The green guard lore.
All right, here is, I guess, I would say a moth without a flame, but it's really a moth without its arena. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
A little bit of trouble there.
Yeah, hanging at the top in this fight I found can be definitely problematic. I like to let Moth do his couple bounces and then do the spins either from on top the way pool float is, although it's a little dangerous if Moth like jacks up like that. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Oh goodness, Pool. I was hoping he was going to pull that off, buddy.
Yeah, getting those fighter sword is tough. Like Iceman having that going into that fight with if he had gone in with the Master Sword would have been able to do 4 spins, but if you can get in between the Moth's beams there.
Oh, Iceman just took a death.
Yeah, that's he was trying to get that
got
that
whiz robes
in the back. Oh my god.
Dark soldiers, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Iceman's gonna be like, yeah, we're going to the Aga play here.
Yeah, he was going to try to get to the back there.
Yeah, it makes sense. You know, he committed to that, probably trying to see what he could get in the back and then make the play to Aga afterwards. But
Pool's going to get this sword here, and he's going to feel, as he would say himself, he'll feel like a dingus for not checking this first, and you know, he could have used that against Moth. But we forgive him because I don't fault the Eastern play at all. I think he made a good call. It just...
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And again, green mail in this mode is a thing.
It's Enemizer. It's just tough. I mean, you know, the most experienced runners can do anything. But, you know, to me, if I see armor, I'm grabbing it. I don't care.
Oh, yeah. Enemizer on the whole, quite frankly, safeties, they're your best friend. Utilize them. There is zero shame attached to anything. Heck, I don't have shame if I'm picking up that stuff in other seeds anyway, but especially not here.
Just answer in chat, yes, Mini Moldorm Cave told us that this is likely going to be an Aga seed, and based on what we've seen in Eastern Palace, unfortunately couldn't get to the back of Hyrule Castle, although Pool Float might. There's a good educated guess that you might as well just bite the bullet and do it, and that's what Iceman's doing.
Yeah, they have...
Ooh, the Wallmaster.
Oh my goodness, that's gross.
That's terrible.
That's so gross. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, Iceman now having to start anew and down to 1 heart on top of that. Yeah, this is a pretty ugly start to the seed. The only place that we haven't seen again, the full back of Escape, and you know, that's Pool Float taking the death too. That room's terrible as well.
Oh goodness. Who rolled this? I want to see who rolled this. Pool Float rolled this, so it's all his fault. Remember that.
Yeah, we haven't seen Agina, but that, you know, Agina alone is not enough for full Dark World access. Again, there could be something here in the back of Escape and Iceman taking a death too. This is a
now if you're Iceman,
part.
do you like, you know, what do you just keep going at it at this point, or do you risk going to the back? I mean,
it's really hard because, like, you know, you want to commit to your plays. Iceman committed to skipping Eastern, and as we did see on Pool's side, it did pay out with half magic, which has some benefit. It really does. But it didn't yield any progression. Iceman has committed to this play, and it's just running into some tough spots here.
Okay, so he was able to get through this room all right. I believe it was the next room. He was trying to go left through the door, and that's where he got surprised.
Yeah, particularly in these dark rooms. Oh, jeez. Oh, gosh.
Oh, the double whammy.
Oh, my gosh. Is that the same super tile? That's awful.
That's just disgusting.
And he has very little magic, and that's like an advantage for Pool Float here. Because he can lean on that cape a bit more in some of these tough rooms. But yeah, especially these like dark rooms, even with lamp, you know, it's only partially illuminated. You get the light cone, but you have to be on your toes for anything, like literally anything. So it's very understandable to be guarded when you go into a room like that, and then you find the spike, and you're trying to avoid that, and then, oh yeah, there's also a wall master still on that super tile.
Confirmed chat, Eastern did have the half magic. All right, so Pool took his intentional death. We want to stress intentional because we don't want to, you know, run up their death counters like this is Dark Souls. Oh, come on, Iceman.
The anti-fairies are so atrocious in this mode
too.
Oh no, gosh. Okay.
Oh, yes, he picked up that red potion. I forgot about that.
And there's still a wall master in that room too. Dear God.
Well, now the rooms are lit up, so that should help. Pool is saying, nope, I'm not going clear to the back of escape. I'm just going to go ahead and go do the climb.
Yeah, I agree with that. That room where, you know, you normally pick up the rat key is really awful right now.
Question is, can a wall master be in a room pre-Aga? Once you get up to the top and you're in that room right before Aga does his spell on Zelda, no, there's no enemies up there once you get to that top floor. However, in Ganon's Tower, that very last room of enemies where you're dashing the bouncers and the conveyor belts and such, I've had a wall master grab me there, and I said the nice few choice words about the wall master as I started GT all over again.
Yeah, I think that's happened to a lot of us when we've played Enemizer. It's great for both players in this case that they picked up cape so early, because that is one of those auto cape rooms. Yep, and Pool Float used that. There we go.
And with his half magic, that gives him a little bit of an advantage just to be able to get through these easier, where Iceman had, you know, used this Quake to get through a couple rooms, and that sapped his magic.
Yeah, I don't think, well, it's hard to tell, but I'm not 100% sure that Pool Float necessarily knew that wall master was coming into that last room, but fortunately it spawned as he was somewhere else as he was evading that spike.
There's one blue ball. Yeah, Pool needed some luck. He needed luck on his side, and he got it, that one.
Yeah, there are times where the Aga climb in Enemizer is absolutely trivial, and this one has been this one's been very trolly for these two players.
Lemon, a lot of those were 4-letter words that might have had the suffix of ing on the end of it. They were very loud. Yeah. And Iceman may be saying the same thing right now, because I believe that's 5 blue balls that he's gotten so far.
Yeah, so coming out of this play, yeah, if once Aga finally stops with the blue balls and such, you know, the players will have Pyramid Ledge and Pod, so the options are very easy.
6. Six. All right. Well, let's find out what's on the ledge. Someone I thought said they bet Hammer was on the ledge. Zen Arcane, thank you for raiding with a party of 15. Welcome to the madness. There have been a lot of deaths so far that you've missed out on.
Yeah, we got Ice, Skull, and Mire as our pendants here today. Green pendant and Mire.
Who called that? Someone in chat called that. Lemon stir.
Now the question is, do you go into pod here, which you can potentially complete, or I would think you go straight pod, and then if necessary, go back to the pyramid light world. But it looks like Iceman wants Hype Cave first.
The average frustrated gamer would say you believe in pod, but I always like to get some of these outside items because you never know what you're going to find that might help you, especially because, again, this isn't a pod go in fight Helmasaur. It could be true, pod go in and, hey, hi Trinex, how you doing, buddy?
Well, 2 rods right here then. Oh yeah, Tony.
Good comment in chat. Iceman couldn't beat it anyway. He doesn't have his bow from Eastern.
That's true. Hype Cave, not too hype.
Hype Cave has been downgraded to Bad Cave.
I mean, Iceman does have an even 1,000 rupees now, though, so he's got that going for him.
Yeah. And I do want to let you know that I've had some, just talking in chat about the bow and everything. It's been explained to me, and Arya, you can tell me if this is correct or not, that even though they're, for example, pod, you have the Mimic Room, which is logically bow locked. Even though in this mode you could probably kill enemies with a sword, it's still logically bow locked, even though the enemies have changed. That's what I've been told.
Every explanation I've gotten is the same as you just relayed. So that's what I would go with.
And then, of course, with pod, you still have to shoot the Goma statue in the back to get the wall to move. And AFG is confirming that. AFG, I got that from Mr. Ed, your Lord and Savior.
Look.
Glove and Dick game.
Okay, that's pretty nice. Actually, that's particularly nice for Iceman too, because again, you did note that he doesn't have that bow from Eastern, so he now has a lot of options up in the Thieves Town Village of Outcast area. As well as the mountain. Not very much up on the mountain, of course. But also Back of Escape, which we did not get to see from either player.
I'd also like to welcome Mr. Ed into the chat, putting AFG in his place. Both of them dodged this tournament, by the way, multiple times after me asking them. So, I just want to throw that out there.
That's where we need the shame emotes.
Yeah. Finally got the Back of Escape, and it was nothing. So Iceman made the right call to just say to heck with it and climb. And Pool's going to pot it up here. As AFG would say, believe in pod. There's a nice big key. Looks like Iceman's going to go check out the Eastern stuff, so he should be getting his bow and half magic soon. Unless he's just doing this to go to... Nope, he's going to go to Eastern.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to work out very well for him.
He doesn't know it, but this is the best move to get that bow, and he'll be able to beat... he'll be able to beat Moth. He'll have an easier time with the fact that he has a hammer and Master Sword at his disposal.
That's true, yeah.
That'll give him the early edge on Pool Flow, although you never want to say who's leading early because you never know what's around the corner with this mode.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing for Pool is that he does have to go back to Eastern later to beat Moth.
Of course, for those that just came in, they had to beat Aga to get their Dark World access. There is a sword on Lumberjack Ledge, but the boots are on Lake Hylia Island. So they can get all that equation solved out. They'll definitely be at Tempered, so we won't have any Master Sword fights unless someone just YOLOs it and doesn't go and get it, or they find the fourth sword.
Yeah, that is good news for both players, though, that they will have that option. Obviously, the mirror is going to be required for Swamp, too, so they're going to have access to their boots at some point. For their sakes, we hope soon, rather than later.
And speaking of Swamp, just to put it out there, if they do get the hook shot before Swamp, Specky Clip is allowed. It's pretty much universally allowed just about everywhere now, with Tark being in existence and approving it, but it's still a new enough clip. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Cool, doing a little bit of a roundabout routing here in Odd. He only picked up big key and map, plus the smalls, 4 small keys here in the front.
Yeah, not having the boots to be able to do that bonk dash and go back to the front, that just makes things a little bit difficult.
Iceman also.
Oh, goodness. Wow.
Oh, no.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to do a hammer yump with this setup.
No. No. Just don't get wall mastered at this point. And it's the customary. Oh my goodness!
Oh, there's the other one.
It's the customary yellow spike in that room in pod.
So we have knowledge of having a Titan's mitt, because they've each found their own glove. So as soon as they backtrack on each other, they'll have that nice yellowish mitt. All right, let's see what Dark Maze has in store for us. This ought to be fun.
Yeah, we still got 3 items and a compass outstanding here. Good job by Pool Float. He took a second there to pause and just make sure he didn't actually need to go to the Hellway, but realized it was just a small key.
Good use of your bow there. Just get rid of them. Okay, he's got a good enemy that he could probably...
Unless he kills him.
Well, I was going to say you might want to prepare to Death Warp, and then...
That was my thought, too. I was like, oh, well, you've got to do the door transition, but, the High Nox will wipe you out pretty quickly. But what if you find the High Nox out first? Just to hope to find somebody.
Did he go south into the Harmless Hallway room? Yeah.
No, it's a small key.
Okay.
So he has the option. And as you noted a moment ago, Iceman with that hammer just able to make very swift work of Moth for crystal number 1.
At 31:44 on his timer. Yeah, if I was Pool, I'd have left that High Nox alive. Probably would have been a little bit of a time save. And you still would have had the ability to get those 3 hearts right there.
Yeah, I don't think that Pool Float got the compass, unless I missed it. So if that's the case, he's could be just walking into this boss fight hoping that it's one he can beat.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Iceman's going to be following in his footsteps as he is going down to 5, warping in, and going up the pod.
Yeah, this route has definitely worked out a little bit better here for Iceman. Again, like Pool's death on Moth hurts a little bit more in this case. Simply for the backtrack reason. And the fact that we're also not guaranteed to see the flute here, with Meyer being a pendant.
Yeah, again, I don't fault Pool's routing. I mean,
Oh, no, not at all.
It was definitely great for the items he got. It's just unfortunate that he got smacked up high a couple times by the Moth and had to turn around and...
Yeah, he actually had that... He actually had that fight going pretty well after those first couple hits, and he just got some bad RNG with the moth movement.
I don't think you can quake those, can you?
You
I know what
could
he's doing.
quake
He's
them.
quaking the
Yeah, the
Gyarados.
Gyarados. Yeah, the red bars are really annoying when you don't have Fire Rod.
Or anything like hook shot that can just zap
Yeah.
him in 3 hits. All right.
Yeah, good thinking by Pool here. Get that cape ready. Yeah, with
Just
that,
cape in there.
you never know what the heck you're going to.
And
It's
we
nope.
can't
All
beat
right.
him.
Alrighty.
And the thing is, Iceman's going to end up doing the same thing, so no time lost for Pool on that situation. Looks like he's going to go down and go into the dark world here in the swamp area and pretty much backtrack on the steps of Iceman, and Iceman's backtracking here. So I don't know if these commands got updated.
Yeah, if Pool takes this hype to dig, which he probably will. It's going to work out really well with those mitts on the dig game.
So while they're doing all this that we've already seen, please give these two fine runners a follow. They do a lot for the restreaming and tournament communities. So, you know, they're not just racing for enjoyment. They do a lot of behind the scenes stuff that helps out. You know, Iceman does a lot of admin work. Pool Float does a lot of design work and layout work for OBS and stuff like that. So please follow them for their all-around contributions, not just for what you're seeing on screen. And of course, if you're desperate, you can follow me. I'd recommend following Arya, but you know, follow me if you're desperate. And a Fishing Boo, you're killing it on tracking. Thank you so much.
Give yourself some credit here, Moo. And yeah, major hat tip to Fishing Boo for helping out as well. Like everybody who contributes to these broadcasts is great. We see an unfortunate thing here for Iceman is getting that big key in the front, opting to go straight to the boss. We do know
Which is
that
a good route.
yeah, it is just in a, you know, when you know that you can beat the boss, absolutely. Unfortunately, here he's going to walk into Argus, probably have to get killed by Argus, and then unfortunately not find the thing he needs in the back to beat Argus. But at least you'll know.
It's more efficient. And I think it's more efficient because Pool Float had to kind of do some jank running around, you know, with no boots or anything, no mirror. So it might actually be more efficient just to take the Death Warp to Argus and finish out the dungeon and save quit.
Yeah, there's definitely an argument to be made for that. I certainly agree. It's a lot of things in this mode, right, are gambles too, right? With incomplete information, even more so than like a rando seed. And Chaos Boss Shuffle just adds to that factor.
Meanwhile, Pool did finish dig game, so he does have his mitts. Looks like he's gonna take the tour to Village of Outcasts to see what he can find. There's the Death Warp for Ice. At least with Green Mail in the Dark World, it didn't take long.
Oh, yeah, no. It's pretty easy for any boss to swallow you up here on Green Mail. So we did see Pool opt against picking up the Smith, which makes total sense here. Obviously, no mirror to immediately turn him in, and he's got a Crystal Thieves Town that he hopes to be able to clear sitting right here. So if he does beat it, that would just erase the Smith anyway.
And the only thing he can do in the Smith chain, I label all of this the Smith chain, is the hammer pegs. And he would be doing that so slow. And for one check, when you know that you're going to have your mirror and flipper guaranteed because of Swamp, you know, maybe you hold off on that if at all possible, and you can zip through those hammer pegs with the boots.
Now the question, chat: when do you go?
There's your fourth sword.
Oh, is that in the front of thieves?
Yep. So we may not even do the agate for the gold sword. So,
yeah, I can't really see that at this point, especially again with like after this, you could certainly see Wolfloat and Iceman when he gets here going north to Bumper Ledge and diving Skull Woods, depending on what else is in Thieves. That area is probably going to be dead afterwards.
Yeah, there's no need to get the gold sword. It's a negligible difference, really. It's what, maybe if you're spin to win, it's maybe like what, like 4 spins or something. It's something really small that's not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, tempered sword half magic is going to be a pretty free fight, and it's going to allow you to get through this game really easily.
Well, as Iceman still continues to clean up Pod, Pool's making his way to the back of Thieves Town. He's just going to go and check the boss, and he's going to have Lamullas, so this is beatable.
Yeah, that temper sword really helps. So Iceman has picked up all the items here from Pod. Knows about Argus. So he's had now.
Oh, hook shot.
Hook shot on Lambo and Thieves.
40-14. Pool has his first crystal.
Yeah, now this presents an interesting dynamic too, because Pool's making the decision that I think I would be making. Not sure what your thoughts on this would be, Moo, but 1 item left in Thieves, no mirror. All of a sudden, your mountain just got very green.
Bail and go to Skull Woods. I always go to Skull Woods because I've been burned too many times by it. Call it confirmation bias. But yeah, 1 item, and you got a metric ton of checks on the mountain, light then dark. So yeah, absolutely right call by Pool here in my eyes.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see if Pool opts to check. Well, he does check the boss.
I missed that.
That looked like another Argus.
Yes, that was Argus.
Yeah, Pendant Argus. Let's see if Pool's going to head to the middle here. They do have Bumper Ledge, which I think I might have been inclined to check before doing the Skull Woods dive, because again, like the mountain is really calling at this point.
Yeah, the mountain is screaming to be checked, but there's a part of me that's just like, you gotta do Skullwoods. You have to treat Skullwoods like an overworld check.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree in this situation, especially given that it's a pendant. You're hoping again to not have to come back to this area. The only issue right now is that it's kind of slow to be trying to loop in there. I'm sure that Pool was hoping for like a small key in the front.
Ice, meanwhile, is going to do the slow hammer pegs, and his reward is 10 arrows.
Tremendous.
Womp womp. We're going to take the express route back to the start. He did get a big key, so he's going to bomb jump and hope the chest has something. I didn't see if he got an item yet. I don't believe he got an item.
I don't think he did. I think it's been keys, compass. Then yep, both in the back.
So he's got a loaded back. Yeah,
the worst layout you could have, because he had to go to the middle to get the small key to avoid the
bumper ledge is open here.
Yeah, that's a route end right now for Pool. We'll See if this is of any consequence.
We'll see if Ice is thorough in Thieves Town too, or if he just says the heck with it, bails. Yeah, I would get that hard in this mode. I'm a little bit of a wimp. And they haven't found much health, and they haven't found armor, so I'm not going to argue with this play.
All right, so this will be the end of the route for Pool Float. You have to think that he's heading mountain now. I mean, again, those dungeons that he does still have left are now beatable. That hook shot does allow both players, or will allow both players once Iceman picks it up to beat Pod. But
and he really doesn't have any other choice but to go to the mountain. I mean, it would be a dumb play to go to Eastern at this point and finish that. That's about the only thing he could do.
Yeah, right now both of those dungeons for Pool are just boss cleanup, and you don't really want to be doing that slowly. You're hoping here that you find some kind of manner for mobility. And again, the mountain is pretty clearly calling as the answer here.
So Iceman is, barring the massively unexpected, going to get his second crystal here. And again, just kind of, as we alluded to there, if you just tuned in, Pool had a fighter sword Moth in Eastern. Unfortunately, took a couple early hits and died in that fight. Iceman entered with Master Sword and Hammer. Had a super easy time. And that's pretty much the difference in this right now, because everything Pool Float's doing, Iceman is following up right behind him.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, the margin of, stuff that's been covered right now would be the difference for lead for Pool Float. And the difference right now is having to go back to Eastern and clean that up. Iceman, though, he's not going north. He's got that hook shot in hand.
Yeah, so this will gain him some time, and he doesn't know it, but it's going to gain him time back. The only good thing for Pool Float about that death with Eastern is now that you have to go back for Pod, you're not going to be making a special trip back just for Eastern. You're going to be going back to that area regardless. So once he gets Mirror, he'll be able, to double back and take care of everything. But that's still going to be time lost going to the back.
Yeah, very true.
All right, so let's see what we can cash in on here. Behind door number 1, we get money and bombs. Yeehaw.
Exciting start. And without Mirror, the players do have to go the long way around to try to route in as much stuff as efficiently as possible, which is not what they're hoping for, but
that's what you got to do. It's what you got to do. At least they got Hookshot to be able to do a Harapot.
That's true. Well, hopefully. Hopefully we won't have hopefully we won't have some really atrocious things. This game wouldn't do that. It's already taken away Hammer, Yump, and Pod. It wouldn't take away Harapot too. Pool Float got a pile of nothing in Paradox Cave though.
Yeah, so let's see what's on Floating Island. If he remembers to check. If he can check. That's junk. So he's going to go ahead and head over to Hera.
Yeah, I don't think that there are any bosses that they cannot beat here. Given the
Lemonster's trying to cause trouble. He's saying Mirror and Hera basement. If he's right on that, we got to do something about him.
Then we need to question if there's been an accidental spoiler log out there, or maybe it was a seed reader.
Either that, or I'm going to get some money and go to Vegas. You can be my card counter. Alright, so got the cape, so that's easily to go through there. That yellow spike shouldn't be an issue, so We are good for Harapot.
Yeah, Poole picked up the compass. I did not see if he actually checked it.
Uh-oh. He didn't get that set up right.
Oh, he's getting like some blowback from the spin off the... I think he might have gotten... Yeah, he got blowback from the spin off the yellow spike. Oh no! Oh no!
He froze trying to do the Harapot and got stuck.
That
Yuck.
stinks. Oh, especially without mirror, that's a long way around here.
But you don't have any other play.
Yeah.
This is pretty much what you have to do. So, and he has no mirror, so now it's like, you know, do you just do Dark World and be done with it? You know, what do you do? You know, it's ugly all the way around at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the only Light World checks he has remaining up here are Spiral Cave and Hera. I think he probably just has to give it another shot here. Hey, you know, swallow the medicine and go back to Hera. But at this point, the odds are pretty good. Well, almost a certainty that there's something of great significance up here on the mountain.
Let's see if Iceman checks. Okay, or not. He decides no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. That's a Helma.
I mean, it's beatable. It's obnoxious here in Hera, but...
Yeah, that gap in the boss arena, that hole makes things a little bit difficult. But I would use bombs and try to make that as easy as possible.
No, even when clinking off that yellow spike, Iceman's still able to get that Harapot set up.
Oh goodness, that is an ill-placed spike.
That's one of the funnier spikes I've seen. That's, when you at least have a cape to deal with it, and you're not having to take a copious damage. Like, that's a funny spike. And yeah, item in Hera basement guaranteed. No mirror. That's not a fun thing to have to consider, but you know, Iceman's got the bombs out. You can use bomb strats here on Helma. That is ideal, because as you did mention, that he loves to hover over that hole. There he is right now. Over that, and there goes the bomb into the middle hole.
Yeah, you just throw as many bombs as you can. And then go in with Hammer when he's at a safe spot. Yet he's not going to want to move to the right. Thankfully, he got him.
Yeah, that is a bad spot for Helma to be for this last phase, though, because Iceman's down to 2 hearts. Get him. One more. There you go.
There we go.
Get out.
Pool Float's only got 2 bombs.
Yeah, and he's only got 3 hearts, too.
One heart.
Uh-oh. Does he still have that bottle? Something in the bottle?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he still got it.
Use them. When you get them, use them. You don't want to have to be repeating these boss fights if you can avoid it.
Anyway, we were watching both. The mirror made its presence known on the boss.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yes.
I was too transfixed with both players clutching it out on low health. But yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. Now the question here for the players becomes, how much do you actually cover here? And with no fire rod, you know, obviously there's very little guarantee that
Vanilla Quake for TR.
Yeah, we could have a Trinex here. You know, with Fire Rod, you could be able to get through. You could technically be able to get through without it, I believe, but it's got to take one of the nicest key layouts imaginable. Trying to see how much you can get in without orphaning things is interesting here. Good knowledge by Iceman. Just get that bow out to get rid of the thief.
Death's Door MSU is what Iceman is using to answer a question I saw in chat a couple of minutes ago.
Alright, Spiral Cave and Hookshot Cave. Both absolutely nothing. So both players are going to give us a look at Super Bunny from different ends.
Flute.
Alright, well, all of a sudden the pieces are starting to come together here for both players.
And in theory, that's a beatable mire. They got to have Quake access, and the boss has to cooperate, but that's green pendant, so for all we know, that could really be on the table and play right this moment.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about how things are going to piece together, because right now we do know that we need flippers for Swamp Palace.
Well, Iceman's going to see how nice this TR is.
Yeah, I don't hate that up here. See how long it takes to kick you out. In this case, it took one chest, but now you know for 100% certainty that Fire Rod is needed. So Fire Rod, flippers, potentially boots, because Desert is a crystal. We don't know if it's boots locked. We do know where the boots are.
And so there is an invincibility item if they wanted to do Spike Cave. I don't think anyone actually went up that side of the mountain to even see what was in Spec Rock Cave.
Iceman did for sure. There was nothing.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, there's nothing on top or inside. I think it might have been another hard piece.
Okay. So then this is really our only outstanding thing besides Spike Cave, and that's a 20. And I would know about a Spike Cave too. There's enough that's opened up, even in just the mire area alone, or being able to get in the desert.
Yeah, I think activating the flute, checking out that mire area is priority number one. We actually haven't even seen a Gina on either side. Not like it's a fast or fun check, but that's yet one more thing that's technically out there. And Pool Float gonna get the same news in TR. Nope. And probably trying to think through the decisions again, like, do I want to make this play over to Spike Cave? And obviously both players left the item in Hera Basement too.
As we all stand for the Highland National Anthem. And it looks like Pool's going to go for Spike Cave. The half magic and the cape makes that definitely easily possible.
That looked like Quake.
And a heart piece for Pool, so for the most part, the mountain was a strikeout. You just got that mirror and flute. And I just watched the actual Twitch stream back, and I didn't catch what it was. Looks like our tracker is saying Quake, so I'm gonna tracker. There's
that's what it looked like to me, and honestly, in like this case, that would not be what I wanted to see. I wouldn't want Meyer as an option here right now.
Meanwhile, I don't think he checked Checkerboard Cave, but he did get his Ice Rod in the Mire Shack.
Yeah, the ice rod is a really nice hedge in this mode. Oh, boots locked.
Oh, boot. Yeah.
Well, the plus side is you know where they are, so they're, it's really
Where are
flipper
those
locked.
flippers? Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of
Those
the reason
flippers
why.
got to start showing.
Yeah, part of the reason why I don't like seeing ice. I mean, Meyer being open there is like, okay, well, your options are really starting to run low here.
Well, you know what Homewrecker would say, right?
Um, Probably something with regard to the juice and such.
Uh-huh. This is where Quake and these Enemizers get used a lot more than you'll ever see in just about any other mode, because Quake can make the enemies so much easier to kill. Now, they had hook shots, so they could have just hook shotted and killed each, Helma sword there, mini Helma, but the Quake just made it so much easier. Other than that, does anyone use Quake outside of entering a dungeon?
No, very, very infrequently. Perhaps when you're entering Ice Palace in a really bad situation for dealing with the Pen Gators. You're not good with bomb strat.
There, and there's checkerboard, and look what we got.
Yeah.
So
Flippers to boots to fire rod go mode. Yeah, Pool floats out here to the Mire area too. So he's going to pick up that ice rod. He's going to get these flippers eventually. Iceman giving us our 1 hour Agina check. Seems early.
Akihaish also mentioned that Smith Chain looks better with Mirror now too, so that's an option now. Of course, he said that before the flippers were found. But you have everything, again, in theory, with Chaos Boss Shuffle. In theory, you have everything that you can go into the Swamp Palace. So, Iceman's going to 4. That indicates to me that that's where he's going, is Swamp. And Pool Float, not far behind.
And this actually worked out for a little bit of decent time save for Pool. In checking checkerboard first, getting those flippers. Obviously both players very well aware of where the boots are. Doesn't even need to worry about diving desert to see if its boots locked, because he's going to be getting them in just a matter of moments. A little surprised that Iceman is not opting to pick up the boots before Swamp.
He's going to get potions. The Pool is going to get his boots. He's like, I'm done walking. I want to run.
I mean, Swamp Palace is a great dungeon in which to have boots. Pool back to the Mire area to do desert first.
Did he go into desert?
He did not. No, that's why it was like, yeah, it kind of worked out because he found the flippers. He didn't even need to go scout whether it was boots locked. Whereas Iceman got the news, got one item that doesn't matter. There's still one more either in the big chest or on whatever the boss is here.
And just to go with a comment in chat, just to kind of bring our late joiners up to speed here. Essentially, the difference in this game is Pool Float had a fighter sword moth that he unfortunately died to in the back of Eastern Palace. Iceman went there with better weaponry and got the kill. Pool Float also unfortunately took a death on his first sweep of the mountain. And Iceman was able to gain some ground there as well. So those deaths, you never say never. You never know how Enemizer's going to go. But I would say if you had to make me pick a leader right now, it'd be Iceman.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, Iceman is up a crystal. The good thing for Pool is, honestly, the flute really helps with regard to him being able to get around and, get those Eastern and the flute plus mirror combo, get Eastern and pod done together. He does have to backtrack, but it's at least not going to be like a slow walk from Eastern down to the pod entry or anything like that.
And if Iceman struggles with something, that could be all the time that's needed for Pool Float to gain even ground. So again, we don't know what we're going to see here. We haven't seen much in Swamp at all, and Iceman's just going to the back. But again, just one trip up from Iceman, or again, as we mentioned, a ill-timed Wall Master. A lot of things that could equalize this game and get pulled right back in that time gap.
Yeah, we've already seen some really awful Wall Master placements. The players are still on green mail, even though they have, Tempered Sword, half magic to lean on. So, a room going sideways. They don't have powder. We've seen a lot of situations where there have been anti-fairies that would be great to powder and get health refills. Oh, there is that fire rod though for Iceman in the back of Swamp.
Argus again?
Yeah, I think it might be Argus and Swamp too. Oops, all Argus.
Yep.
Argus, what, number 4? We're not going to fight.
That is number 4 that we've seen.
Yeah, we're not going to fight Skullwoods Argus, but
at least we hope not, for their sake. I'd hate to see a scenario where you have to, but yeah, that's what Chaos Boss Shuffle can get you. You can get as many of the ether on that Argus. But you can get as many one boss as the arenas will allow them to be in.
Yeah, so for Iceman, he's going to officially hit go mode once he picks up his boots here. Off of Lake Hylia Island, Pool Float will eventually get to Swamp after he does these 2 dungeon cleanups here. There are no more items to get in Pod and Eastern. But Iceman presently +1 in the crystal column. Pool's, again, closing in on a couple more. But it's not going to take much for Iceman to close out Desert and Pod. And then, well, obviously both players will head up to TR and GT.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate for Pool where that fire rod was. It just played right into Iceman's routing, and it's just going to make... you hate to, pin it on anything, and, because, it's Enemizer, anything can happen, but really, I think the Moth Death is just the big thing that's just sticking out right now. And I'm sure if Pool had that chance, he would definitely like a redo on that one.
Yeah, it's tough because again, both players did take some early deaths, but dying on the boss versus dying in the back of Escape can usually be pretty different in terms of the degree that it can affect things. But Pool Float has done a really good job again, though, of not letting that get to him. He's played really well since then to keep this a very close. This has been a really close match, as we expected. As you noted, these two are league teammates, good friends, and very skilled players.
And all it takes is one Wall Master at this point. You don't want to. You want to root for the Wall Master for a competitive game standpoint. You want to root for the Wall Master because it's fun and we can all laugh. You don't want to root for it because you don't want to, you know, trouble Iceman. But, you know, if you're rooting for Pool Float, you know, you need that Wall Master type situation to come up and impact Iceman. And, you know, having to redo a GT climb, that's a great equalizer.
Yeah, there's some really gross stuff that could still pop in the seed. We got a lot of it early. Since then, again, once the players got that hook shot off of Landmos in Thieves Town, I believe it was. Was that where it was?
Yes.
Yeah, like that. Obviously, what with all the Arguses that we've had, that's made things pretty smooth sailing. We actually really haven't seen too much in the way of like rough dungeons either, but we've got Turtle Rock, which has the potential to have some fun on the bridge in the back. We've got Ganon's Tower, which always has the potential to make things interesting. So
there's the one boss that everyone who is evil in their hearts cheers for in GT and cheers for it to be necessary, and that's Trinex on ice.
Yeah, you want to, I mean, again, even more so because it's Chaos Boss Shuffle. You know, it's very much an option. We did see Iceman already go and gear up in terms of potions. I don't remember if Pool did. If not,
I don't think he did.
You know, I would definitely, again, even more so that way more so than in a normal mode, I would definitely just want to make sure I have stuff in my back pocket. Because the last thing you want to do with TR is your last crystal, and then GT is get in a situation where you die and are in a really bad spot, and an Ice Trinex probably being the worst of those potential spots.
Yeah, I mean, that's just so difficult. I mean, Trinex is a little bit of an investment to begin with anyway, with, you know, how you have to fight him with your tempered sword, or if you do the hammer approach, which either one's the same, you add the ice element into it, not the ice that's being spit out, just the ice physics of a GT fight. I've seen that required, and I've seen it just destroy people. And it's just like, you think, oh, you know, hey, it'll be fun, it'll be easy, you know, we can get through this, I got 2 bottles, and it doesn't always turn out that way.
No, it's a legitimately difficult fight. I mean, we saw that in invitational play this year in the league between some of the highest runners in the Enemizer seed that largely swung on an Ice Trinex that was required. So it's legitimately difficult. Anybody who gets through it, you know, deserves praise, no matter what your gear is, in my opinion.
Akihaishin chat saying that Helmasaur King is
oh yeah, that's
their thing with basement of GT.
Yeah, that's a really tough one too. It's hard to get in the rhythm that you need with Helma because his movement can be so janky, and to try to come up with like a cohesive strategy is often difficult. Oh,
the
at
other
Moldorm
thing too.
Yeah, that's not fun either.
The other thing too is there's if you want to go higher up in GT, there's that infamous clip by Wilbur J. Bradley where he was fighting Trinex in the Landmo 2 room, and the door opened, and he was like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and go up, and then the Trinex followed him into the room and killed him.
Oh, jeez.
So you have that weird thing. If you get Argus and GT on the basement or the second level, all you have to do is kill the puffs, because then as soon as Argus does the jump off screen to do the swim around, as soon as he jumps off screen, boom, doors open.
That's true, yeah.
So
yeah, we did see Iceman close out pod for Crystal 6. Pool got his 5th and is doing Big Bomb now.
And he just doesn't know.
Yeah, I do wonder if this is maybe like a play for an out here, thinking again, like he had those couple of things earlier was noted in chat too, right? He had the Moth Death in addition to the Harapot that he had to, save and quit out of and go around the mountain. Maybe a slight play for an out here if he thinks he might be chasing.
Yeah, and now that you've done that, he's got to commit to this play too.
Yeah.
Releasing his potions.
That's true. The fillet.
Oh, bug net.
Mushroom for fillet. So, I mean, Swamp Palace, you have to think it's got to be the next play, though. Sometimes it's difficult. You get in these situations where you take that death, and not even saying it's necessarily tilting, but it kind of does change your perspective, that you maybe start thinking, do I need to do something slightly unorthodox to catch up in my mind, versus, what seems to be the clear progression.
And I've done that myself. I've been like, okay, this happened to me. I'm just gonna try this. Unfortunately, when I do that, I get every bad decision in the world, and it just never works out for me. At least for Pool here, he's not going too far down. Like, he could have done Smith Chain and stuff like that too. At least he's going in the swamp, but I gotta feel like he's going to see that Fire Rod, and he might be thinking in his mind, Iceman's probably already gotten this, and he's going to be wondering where Iceman is. And it's being in that position, that is not a good feeling.
Yeah, because as we think about it, right, this seed on the whole was rather straightforward. There was not that much that was totally out of the way. The Aga play was pretty much the one thing that was a little bit obnoxious, but it was also kind of telegraphed.
Yeah, they both had the same struggles there, and that was just a weird few rooms you had to battle through, with Enemizer being Enemizer. And then after that, I mean, let's put it this way, the seed looked really evil to start off, especially with the Aga Tower climb, and there haven't been too many situations where it's been gotten bad.
Yeah, because in theory, I mean, the pendant dungeons didn't even need to be touched. We did see a Skull Woods dip on Iceman's side for nothing. In fact, didn't even get an item.
Poolside did that. Iceman
that
just
was
skipped
cool.
Up straight to the mountain.
Oh,
yeah.
You're right. Thank you.
So yeah, no swamp, no ice, no mire, and that was a concern at first with mire being open. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, and even the ice rod, which again, we don't know if it's ever going to be required, but you'd much rather rest easy knowing you have it. That was pretty free too in Mire Shed. So yeah, anti-fairy just not being cool to pool float. Enemizer, especially this older build, does seem to love to put anti-fairies in that room. Swamp obviously does have a more limited amount of, or array of enemies that can be in certain rooms in this setup. But without powder, that is so obnoxious.
And Pool just waved the white flag and said, I'm going to do this the old school way.
Yeah, he gave it a couple of good attempts, which I gotta give him credit for. See if it can work, and that anti-fairy was just giving him no room. So it was a good decision on his part to just say, you know what, I've had enough of you. Let's not waste time trying to brute force something.
The Samaria room, Samaria Maze for Iceman, is pretty cooperative. As far as enemies go, he's just gotta navigate it here. I think he lost his way. He's just gonna reset himself.
Okay, just reset. But yeah, pretty tame layout for it.
He is going to need to do laser bridge. Really, the only significance here of doing laser bridge is he might stumble into silvers. That's really the big item at this point. That's outstanding. That'll really help.
Yeah,
Armors, I guess, could help. Would be
yeah.
secondaries too.
That was the thing I was gonna add. That a mail upgrade would definitely be nice here. I would absolutely be checking that last chest here on laser bridge just to see if you can spike anything, or even, you know, a third bottle or something that can be beneficial. You know, you didn't grab that small key in the first chest, so
you're right there. You're not going completely out of your way to check it. I mean, it's not like you're taking like a minute to do it. It's literally like another 5 seconds. I'd just do it. And we got one-eyed Moldorm.
Moldorm's not doing so hot these days. Cool, making his way to the mountain. Has 6 crystals in tow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 crystals for Mr. Iceman. We have a game that we like to play in GT. Get your number guesses in 1 to 22. Which number will the GT Big Key be in for Iceman? Some people like to guess specific locations themselves. Whatever, you know, floats your boat there and, you know, you want to play. But I guess 9. I always guess 9. I don't know why. Usually it's the Fire Snake chest. What do you usually go with?
I usually go with 1 because I try to be nice. I have to counteract the 22s that you know are going to show up.
So yeah, Pool's basically a full dungeon behind at this point. We will start off in Hope Room. 1 is a red 20. 2 is a small key. He does not go full right. He's going to go ahead and head off to the left side. 3 is bombs. He does not need any. I don't know how Iceman likes to route, so I don't know if he's going to do this and then go back to the right side, but we'll at least get checks 4 through 7 here. 4 is a small key. 5 is a red 20. 6 is a red 20. 7 is bombs. Looks like he is just going to continue on from this point and not go to the right side. Right side is dead to him right now.
Yeah, I typically like to route to compass anyway if I get a small key in Hope. Enemizer, I tend to do it even more so, just kind of as a hedge against the Ice Trinap's dynamic.
8 was a full heart. The double fire bar room. Be a moment before we get to chest number 9 here. Green 50 for number 9. Rando room coming up next. Checks 10 through 13. Pretty clean GT as far as enemies go. 10 is 10 arrows. Compass is 11. 12 is bombs. 13 is red 20. Compass, just so you're aware, compass does not work in GT to tell where enemies are where. So you're still going to be going into those fights having no clue who you're going to face.
Oh, this is a fun here's a fun array of enemies.
At least he's got sword beams that he could kill off the bomber, or at least get him.
Sword beams, hook shot, and get one shot on both, but they were just... Oh my, it's actually Bob.
Yeah. Check 14 is a red 20. And what are we getting, folks? What are we getting? What are we getting? What are we getting?
Lamos.
Ammo.
Ice Lamos.
Well, that's not fun for us. It's a relief to him, but... We'll have checks 15 through 17 coming up here. $15 is a bloopy, 16 is a small key, 17 is a bloomerang.
Yeah, we did finally find that boomerang, though.
Yes, we did.
It was behind Ice Lamos the whole time.
Pool is also not going to check that last check in TR Laser Bridge. So we will never know what it is.
Yeah, unless it happens to be Silvers and Ganon tells us. Yeah. But he would never do that. Not this game, though.
Yeah. Iceman with a smart play. Don't go to light the torches first. Just go down and scout everything, see what enemies are there, and then do your torches so you don't get surprised.
Oh, the shadows. Shadows absorbing the Samaria blocks there on Iceman's side. 18
is a 50. 19. Did anyone guess number 19? I am not seeing. There it is. Opa de Leaf, if I pronounced it right. If I apologize if I mispronounced that and butchered it. But that is the only 19 that I see. So congratulations. You win unlimited Enemizer seeds for life. Have fun dying.
That's a great deal.
So, if you're Pool, or if you're rooting for Pool, he's got to go full right. He's just got to see that key and be like, I'm going right. And then, you know, unfortunately to be evil, you have to root for some kind of catastrophe for Iceman here.
Yeah. Pool's going to start. Hope is going to be either you need him to DM or go. You know, straight to compass, as you noted here. Does have that mirror out, though. No. There we go. Okay.
Well, that's going to help him.
Yeah, this is going to help Pool cut down a lot of the time. Iceman, again, obviously still has a pretty healthy lead.
He's going to take the safety room, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, it was a smart decision here. Let's take these couple of seconds to make sure you're at full strength heading to the climb.
I'm just going to mark the time that Iceman got to the gauntlet, which is 1:26:46. And we will see how far behind Pool is at that point. Pool's got to make one more transition.
Yeah, he's got to grab this small.
That's still a heck of a lot of time gained as opposed to going left.
Yep, saved a ton of checks, saved having to do a landmo fight that, you know, took several cycles simply because it was on ice and not fun.
Now, unfortunately, neither runner has Bombos. Bombos is the godsend in the gauntlet in these modes because it can kill everything. Ether can freeze some things, and there's a Helma. Ether can freeze some things. You still have to go and wax them, where Bombos can pretty much kill almost anything.
Yeah, Helmasaur in this arena is actually surprisingly annoying too because of the shooter. The shooter's the real, the real bad enemy in this one.
I can't do the vanilla fight half the time perfectly because of that shooter. Looks like Pool's going to take the safety room too. So we're looking about a 2-minute gap. And how long do you say it takes to go from start of Eastern all the way back straight to the boss?
I mean, with boots, which he had at the time, I think it's, yeah, probably somewhere in that general range.
I mean, I think that's your difference here. I mean,
Yeah, and again, also that Hera breeze and the Hera pot having to walk around the mountain there too. I think those are the two main things that have hurt. Yes, as Ed's noting in chat, Ether also does have great utility because it can kill a lot of the enemies, especially the shadows. Oh, this is a really dreadful. Oh, well, you can just get
with no powder. Yeah.
just get, well, as long as he does that, that's fine. That's actually the best scenario. The anti-fairy got on a good, quote unquote, good pattern for Iceman in terms of going down to that bottom path long enough for him to get the top and right torches.
And I will bow down in the glory of the horse for that information as well. Still thinks I'm like, uh-oh.
Hello, Wallmaster. Didn't see you there.
Oh,
it's the same super tile, I believe. I believe these 4. I think. Yep.
Oh my! I was clenching.
Yeah. In that room, I would have been heavily. Oh, good, another Helma on this amazing platform. I would have been heavily considering just. I don't care about that chest. That chest doesn't exist. I'm getting out of this room before the Wallmaster shows up.
Yeah, that would have been me.
Very nice job with the bombs, though.
Great fight so far from one of us. But yeah, I would have been like either skip the chest or wait in a safe spot and just wait for the noise to come.
Iceman getting into a dicey health situation here. Okay.
He got out of it, though.
He does still have 2 potions, I believe. Oh. He has the ability to cape through the next room. He has $20, which is also great.
Parking validation chest. All right, be careful. Yeah, just do that. That is the best thing you can do. And something's falling down. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a Wallmaster.
Ooh. Yeah, Pool Float seeing that Wallmaster flash in front of his eyes there. Iceman into the Aga 2 fight, the second Aga fight that we actually did have to do today. Yeah,
he's going to try to do this on green mail and not get any hits, which usually you're okay, but sometimes you get those patterns where Aga just you just don't want any of it. He got good enough patterns to survive the fight.
Yeah, very nicely done, and good job again. The foresight there by Iceman. Just had the blue potion at the ready. Unfortunately, Pool Float taking a fall here on Helmasaur here, up on the Hill Room 2 platform. A huge part of this fight. I mean, this is the right strategy. We saw it on Iceman's side. We're seeing it here from Pool Float. Is Helma's RNG in terms of where he's walking, and he can get these bombs in and. Very good job there by Pool Float. And now it's just trying to get some shots in without taking too much damage. We would love to get this Tempered Sword spin in. I like this call. Yeah, cape up, use the sword, kill him. Good job.
Iceman also going to Cape Strats to go through phase 2. This will easily burn through that and get him down to phase 3.
Yep. And smart use of the potion there.
Yep.
Take no chances.
Although Ganon's going to be a little teleport baby here.
Feels like fewer warps than that Aga one, though.
Ice Palace for the silvers.
Yeah, that was high priority, Ganon. At least for both players, it was not the last chest of Laser Bridge. So
yeah, that would have been a dull moment right there.
Nice Aga 2 fight from Pool Float, though. Iceman has been doing a very good job of setting up triples and just missed that Fire Rod shot. Call shenanigans.
For what it's worth, I measured when I went in 132.42 to the lights appearing on Ganon to 134.32, so a minute 50 gap. But Iceman, all he's got to do is walk across this bridge, not walk left, not walk right, and if he does that, you get your GGs in chat and congratulate him on a win. Official race time of 1:35.01. He takes game 1 of a best of 3. There will be a second match, and if you want to give me a moment, I can tell you when that is. I should have had it up, but, you know, me being a great tournament admin, didn't think to look it up. Hopefully Pool has no problems and he can get in there and finish as well. January 9th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So same time tomorrow for their game 2. And we will be waiting here. Hopefully, we will be able to get them in for some comments on the race.
Yeah, Pool doing a really good job here. He's gotten himself into a rhythm now.
Yeah.
There it is.
There we are. Get your GGs in chat for Pool 2. He is going to finish with a 1:36. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. A 1:36.48 is his finishing time. So basically a minute 47 separating the two. Great races by both. Very entertaining. It's just... You know, Arya, I mean, I've mentioned it several times. You know, there's a couple of things, but the first one that comes to mind, Pool unfortunately died in the Fighter Sword Moth. And that very well, arguably, is the difference.
Yeah, just a few things here and there. You know, as you said, that it doesn't take much in a tight race like this between two very skilled players. And a seed that, again, was pretty linear past the Aga play. Yeah, that early death to Moth hurt, and then just a couple of additional things that Pool had to do. Gave Iceman some time. I mean, Pool did a really great job of cutting back that time, though, because as you said, like when you're breaking down, how much does this take, this take? It's a little bit more than the final margin of this match. So Pool did a great job of trying to fight back, but Iceman really did not give him many openings. He played great.
The participants are interested in doing post-game interviews. We're trying to get them in here. Apparently, they're waiting on their invites, so we'll try to work on that and see if we can get them in here to talk to them about the race. So I do apologize for the delay on that. But yeah, this is kind of excitement that I was expecting when, you know, I proposed on a wild whim back in November that I was going to start this tournament. So it was very, very entertaining. You know, I have yet to go back and look at some of the other results from earlier. I was working, so unfortunately I couldn't see every single race that started. This is the first race I've seen. But this is definitely, you know, very exciting stuff. I mean, if you're interested in this, you know, this is week 1 of it. It's 64 runners. We're going to try to get everything knocked out, hopefully be finished by mid-February. It's going to be fast and furious, but you're going to get to see a lot of stuff. And again, if you like these runners, again, they do so much for the community. They do so much to help out from the admin perspective, setup perspective, you name it, they do it. Please give them a follow. If you're desperate, follow me. Definitely follow Arya. Definitely follow Fishing Boo, the tracker. They're awesome people. And I believe we are joined by Mr. Iceman and Mr. Pool Float. GG's to both of you.
Yeah, did you Pool?
Yeah, GG's Ice. This was it was something.
As I said in the race time, I gambled hard after that climb issue that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Pool, one thing that pointed out, and at this point I feel like I'm harping on it with Chad. They're probably going to tell me to shut up about it. So, unfortunately, you went into Eastern Palace with the fighter sword, and the moth just didn't cooperate with you. And you end up losing by less than 2 minutes. And, you know, you also had a situation when you were doing your first mountain climb where you died. But I just look at the Eastern Palace like if you could have just somehow gotten through that moth fight, this is probably nail biter to the finish.
Yeah, I think for me, two things stand out as what would have swung the result. The first is not dying to moth, and the second is had I not I don't know if it's technically a hard lock, but had I not locked in Herapot, because I was so focused on not clinking off of the spike that when I finally got clipped in, I forgot to push left. And if anyone didn't know, that's what happens if you don't push left first.
Yep.
So between the two of those, that was probably at least, I don't know, I'm not good at speedrunner math, but that had to be at least 3 minutes, those two combined.
Sounds about right, yeah. Because you wouldn't have had the mirror at that point, so you would have had to do a full reclimb.
Yep.
That'll out to the time. No, I was really happy I gambled Aga, because like Master Sword, Cape, Lamp, I'm like, okay, Aga is being screamed at right now. Go do that, and then I died. What was it, like 2 grabs by the hand, at least 2 deaths on the climb, all within the same dark room. I'm like, I have to gamble now. And then when I found Hammer, I'm like, okay, that's step 1 for me being correct in my choice. Get the glove at Dig Game. I'm like, okay, I made the correct choice. It was an Ega Seed. Let's go to Eastern, get the bow. I'm like, of course, now I can beat, in theory, Pod and get Mitts right there. I'm like, all right, I seem to be routing pretty good today.
So did you really feel behind at any point in the race? Because, I mean, there's part of it is like, yeah, the climb was was a little bit troublesome for you, but you also had to look at it as like, well, Pool's probably having to deal with the same thing and having the same exact...
I knew he was going to deal with the climb, but I didn't think he would have been grabbed and killed that many times. So every dungeon where I left an item, Hair Basement, Thieves Back, anything like that, was me feeling behind, because normally I would think I don't want to come back to this location. I'll leave an item, or I'll check all the items. But every single one of those gambles of leaving an item was me feeling behind.
Which that brings up another question. Pool, you did Pyramid Fairy. Was that kind of a gamble play to think, hey, I lost time, maybe if it's here, I can gain some of that back?
That's exactly what it was, because I knew I was one item from go, and if it was there, because there was nothing logically preventing it. So if it was there, then, I mean, I was already planning on go-moding Swamp as much as possible. But I figured if it's there, then I literally don't have to open a single chest anywhere. And while it would have only been a couple of seconds difference, in terms of the actual Swamp part, you know, it just, I don't know, there was enough weird placements in this seed that I just had a feeling it could have been there. And to Iceman's point about the hammer earlier, anyone who was watching my stream may or may not have seen a certain one-finger salute when that thing showed up there. But it did at least confirm, it made me very certain that it was an Aga seed, and I made the play at the right time. Then, yeah, digging up the myths. Because I'm already prepping, like, I'm going to go over here, we'll do the dig game, I'm going to save and quit, and then I do the dig game, and never mind, I'm going up. So, you know, it just, at that point, I felt good about Aga when I did. And at least in the case of Eastern, even though I did die to Moth, unfortunately, I had all the items, so I knew when it was time to go back, I could pair it with Pod and just, you know, obliterate him.
Ice, I feel like I'm talking, or, you know, over Arya. So he'll probably ask a question too. But Ice, when you were climbing those last few rooms in GT,
yep,
did you realize how close you were to getting grabbed? Did it dawn on you at that point?
Yeah, I remembered there was the hand, I think, in the previous room, and I was thinking to myself, okay, yeah, there's the hand. I'm going to still check these chests for silvers just in case. I knew I wasn't going to get butter or a mail upgrade, some extra safety. And then I didn't hear it. All the other enemy noise and whatever sound effects blocked the hand coming down. And when it came down, I saw it close. I'm like, I am glad I did not get grabbed there. Holy crap.
There was something... We can't say 100% what it was, because it could have been a skeleton falling too, but when you were dashing through that final enemy room and going up the steps, you could see just the circle shadow sitting there.
But
like, we assumed it was the hand.
That one, I don't think that one was the hand. I think that one would have been a skeleton, because as soon as I went by there, that's when it triggered, and not... If it was going to be the hand, I think it would have triggered faster than that, somewhere else in the hallway. But again, I could be wrong.
It triggered lower when Pool went through, though, I think. So that makes me...
Okay, so then maybe it was a hand. But then, either way, I didn't think much of it because I was already at the doorway. There's no way it's coming down that fast. Not when I'm dashing with Cape. But yeah, there is a couple moments like that where there's just a surprise hand.
Yeah, actually, I think probably my cleanest play overall was the tower. You know, I was all ready to mirror after Hope Room, and I'm like, no, you know what? I'm saying to myself this whole time, and anyone who watches when this goes to YouTube or watches my VOD, because my mic is live on there, you know, you're going to hear me basically say several times, I just want to enter GT before Iceman finishes. It's like, all right, I'm entering GT, he can finish now. And then I'm like, okay, it's going to be within a Ganon fight. And because thankfully I gambled right side, got the key early, and then, you know, I had, other than a Helma fall at the top, I had a pretty clean tower climb.
And Iceman went
that would have
full.
saved you time. Yeah, I always go full left every single time. I don't care what I get, I go full left. So people can use
So
that
then I
against
was
me. I don't
really far behind you then.
care. But then
Yeah.
if you said you failed to Helma, that would have given a little bit of time back. But yeah, I did a full left and right to get the key.
He fell to Helma, but I feel like he got through Aga 2 quicker than you did, so it was kind of
Oh
negligible
yeah, I had
there.
a bad Aga too.
I mean, really, you look at it, it's $1.50 difference. You know, and if that hand would have grabbed you, you know, that's how close that race was at the end to.
Yeah, it sounds
flipping.
like a lot of small things here and there just added up and could have just changed it. One small thing on either side, which is what you want to see, a nice close race.
Yeah, it was definitely amazing, but so what's the you got poutine on my cheesesteak team vibe like right now? Are we okay? We chill, or you know, is there some simmering anger starting for Pool, or you know, how we doing there?
I'm good. What I have preferred for a team matchup beyond round one, yeah, you know, because now one of us has to, you know, is going to have one fewer tournament, you know, in a couple days. But you know, I definitely have no ill will. It's you know, we have very similar execution styles overall, so it's not surprising that it was a close race.
And in the 2 acings we tried, each of us took a game.
Yeah.
So anything can happen in game 2. Maybe, hopefully, it goes to game 3, so we get a full series out of it, and then we just see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they always call, you know, GT's always called the similar sort of the great equalizer, not quite like level 9 and Z1 are, but even more so when it's enemized, because you never know. I mean, especially, you know, a rudely placed wall master's like, hey, like GG's on climbing an enemized tower in 4 minutes. Now do it again.
Yeah, and of course we do note that it's same time tomorrow for your race, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's your game 2, which of course Iceman wins, it closes out. But if you win, Pool, there would be a game 3 needed, and I don't think you guys have scheduled that yet.
We have not, because we also have Pool and Jarek, our other teammate, are doing a multi-world. Me and Jarek are doing Krasky's mentor tournament, so we've got a few tournaments. We wanted to leave a bit of room open for those and just see where everything else fell.
Yeah, it seemed like all these tournaments all popped up just all of a sudden, all at once, and it was just like, whoa, where did all this come from? So,
yeah. And I've got avian art as well, so
the good old bird flu tournament. Yeah, that's another one that's underway. I mean, there's just so much going on right now. It seems like everyone. You know, I admit I might have scheduled this a little bit differently had I known that everything was going to pile on like this. But you know, I'm still appreciative that you guys are able to participate in it, as is everybody else. You know, in the field, despite all these busy schedules and all these enticing tournaments to participate in. I think it also speaks to how robust the community is becoming.
Yep, for sure.
Arya, I have completely talked over you this whole flipping time. I am so sorry. I just got on a roll. Is there anything, I should let you contribute?
There's no worries at all. Like you guys covered it all. This was a great match. I give both of you, Iceman and Pool, a lot of credit for dealing with a pretty ugly start, especially Hyrule Castle and Castle Tower. Pretty gross early game setups, and then you did a great job of pretty much staying on track. This was a really good race, and I'm sure that game 2 is going to be really competitive too.
I'm hoping so.
Exactly.
And again, as I was saying before they got in here, make sure that you give these two a follow. They entertained you today. What more could you have asked for? Give them follows, show your love to them. They would appreciate it. I guess at this point, Iceman, do you have any final thoughts?
Not just looking forward to game 2 and seeing if we can make a game 3 happen somehow.
about yourself, Pool?
Same thing. Just, GG's again for what ended up being a closer match than I thought it was going to be. And yeah, we'll do this again same time tomorrow.
All right. Well, anything else you want to add, Arya?
Oh, good. Just again, congrats again to both runners. Congrats on Iceman on this win, and Pool for playing a really well played match. And thanks, Moo, for commenting with me. This was a lot of fun. And Fishing Boo for the tracking, Drosy, and I think Sigma and Lamianu for the setup. This was a lot of fun. Great way to kick off a tournament.
Yeah, first comm experience for me, believe it or not. And I had a great race to do it on, but I couldn't miss Pool and Iceman, so I had to be here for it. There was just no way.
Well, we appreciate that, and for you putting the tournament on. Just it's like, hey, I'm going to run a tournament, and well, based on the activity levels at sign up, I think you're onto something here.
Yeah, this has been an experience. I don't necessarily recommend anyone just to start up a tournament just to start it, but I mean, I've had a lot of great help from the community, and whether it's Drosy or Adirondack Rick or yourself, Iceman has chimed in on a couple things as well with some good advice. A lot of different people have helped out, and we've gotten to day one. Day one is still not over, and still got some races going on. So there's going to be races going on all week. So again, people, keep your eyes peeled on the community. Check your resources. Check your, link to the past streamers. They're in a race. We'd love to restream everyone we can, but if we can't, pull up your friend that's racing, pull up their opponent and watch. Just have some fun. And especially because these are live with no delay. I'm sure you guys had nice interactive chats with some of those enemy situations, I would imagine. But on that note, I think it's going to wrap everything up. So again, behalf of Arya, behalf of our wonderful runners, Iceman and Pool Float, Fishing Boo, Awesome Tracker. This is Mookout 1980. Thank you so much for being here. And you all have a wonderful evening or day or whatever time zone you're enjoying. Peace.